The family members were nodding their heads at Tiona's words. From the male members of the second rank and below, you are saying, choose this person. Raoul and Cruz, who were sitting next to me, also shook their heads frantically and shouted, stop it. All good. Lefiya. It's not what Tiona says, but when it comes to martial arts, we can help. But I can tell you, I'll do as many real battles as I can. There's really no trusting this wild, selfish, troublesome logo. Tioni, who got up from her seat, runs and joins the battle. This state of mind is exactly the state of mind of an older sister who does not want her beloved younger sister to be taken away. Instead, it contains a lot of personal feelings that I don't want to be called a gamble. I was told to do whatever I wanted, don't worry about it, useless Amazon. A blue streak passed across Beth's forehead. Anyway, all the sisters have dissatisfied expressions on their faces. It's not that Tiona and the others are to blame, it's just that I need him now. Lefiya remained calm. Those deep blue eyes were unmoved by Tioni and the others, and silently lined up her words. Belle. Besides, I'm sure Beth won't take it easy. Tiona and Tioni were speechless at the same time. Just like Lefiya said, even if you train, Tiona and the others will always hit the brakes and stop. It's all because they care about Lefiya. But Bet would never do that, I can bet, whether training, in a fight, he kicks and punches mercilessly. That's the violent, selfish, troubled wolf that Tiona and the others call out. In other words, that's why Tiona and the others stopped training with Bet. I was trying. Lefiya bows to Tiona and the others. Tiona, Tioni, I'm sorry. And I don't think I can change anymore. I can't afford to be spoiled by the kindness of Tiona and others. Lefiya unfailingly revealed what was in her heart. Tiona and Tioni, who had gone so far, couldn't say anything else. As the same elves Alicia and others widened their eyes at the resolve of their compatriots, Lefiya, who raised her face, glared at Bet this time. Mr. Beth, please. I told you, it's troublesome. Just like those idiots say. Cry for A's. Beth's response remained the same. He also seeks his own strength. I don't have time to worry about little fish. I pretend to be a lone wolf and I'm not even a magic user. Decide in the end that there's nothing to do, Lefiya's offer. I ate the rest of the bread without even looking at her. If Lefiya was a girl now, she would have reluctantly backed off. But now, the elf here was sighing without flinching. You don't like small fish, do you? You'll have one less fish that way. Elfie and the others who overheard the conversation held their breath. Extraordinarily belligerent words. A different observation from a referee. With those words, the werewolf's amber eyes caught her for the first time. Suddenly. Bet also has magic, right? I can teach you too. I don't use magic. Then how about artillery training? We also need to check the power cap of the new silver shoes, right? It seems like a stupid amount of magic power. I have something I can return. With a calm expression, she talks about her convenience and sells it to him. Before anyone noticed, Lefiya said the following words. I told you, I will be useful. A little silence. At that word of resolution, the corners of the werewolf's mouth parted. I changed my lifted lips into a smile and got up from the chair I was sitting in. Interesting. If you say so, I'll date you. Yes, please. Don't play. You won't regret it. You can't do that, can you? The elf looked at the wolf's smile and looked up with a serious expression. The members who were watching the whole story couldn't keep up with her thoughts. However, the fact that Lefiya is serious enough to move the bait, I understand. You're always surprised, how could Lefiya become Bete? You look weird. Anakiti, who was staring at Lefiya and the others, sat down next to her. I let out a troubled voice when I noticed A's condition. The golden-haired, golden-eyed girl stopped time and now became a pure white existence. Lefiya, a junior I used to train with, was taken away. It was these words that occupied A's heart, which burned pure white. Image Lefiya Bete Aki A's. By giving a big shock to the people of the family, Lefiya and Bete's training was decided. Lefiya, who decided to change, decided to create this habit first. Study, training, labyrinth, fun affairs, personal affairs, spend your attention on different thoughts and actions. Lefiya was aware of that fact. She has the ability to realize that time is limited. And even if she is a long-lived elf, time still has value. If there is a test in the future to be overcome by him that, like now, must be sacrificed, then the only way to avoid this is to accumulate pure effort. Gradually. If simple effort changed something, Lefiya was willing to expend energy on it. Count backwards from a firm goal. It means cutting out all the useless stuff and moving on. If you've done everything and you still regret it, you can quit. However, regret caused by laziness is absolutely unforgivable. You must not forgive yourself. Regret is usually directly proportional to the total amount of time. After an unacceptable result, if during the review process it discovering that she is lazy, Lefiya will definitely curse herself. Sacrifice, lamentations and tears. These are things that must never happen again. It is something that can never be recognized. So if you want to change, start now. As she told Tiona and the others, if this opportunity is missed, Lefiya will still be the same Lefiya Virides. So she decided to hurry up and live. Ask yourself to value your time. From now on, try to do things that can change yourself and gradually transform yourself day by day. It's too slow. Therefore, training with Bete began on the day of application. The atrium of the Twilight Pavilion. In the space formed around the central tower, Lefiya received a merciless kick from the werewolf. A cough. How many times do I have to say this, you brain? Don't let the singing distract you. Counting from the first exercise, it is now the 7th day. Real combat training starts after breakfast and does not stop at noon for a long time, and continues until dinner time. The reason not to start. In the morning it seems to be exercise will be interrupted by breakfast, so boring. Now the sun has gone over it too and it's late. You can't defend yourself, you can't hide, you can't hide. First of all, don't sing your disgusting song. Another cough. It's just preparing for battle with that parallel chant. Give me some self-awareness. Act like you can only sing. Lefiya was hit in the stomach and rolled to her side on her hands and feet, struggling in pain as Bete began to scold again. The only thing he didn't do was chase after her, but otherwise he was ruthless, regardless of gender, build, or race. This excessive cruelty called pain caused the dagger and staff to fall from Lefiya's hands. How about imitating that girl who burped first but ended up singing slower than that girl? Lefiya looked up. Her eyes flashed with anger. Bete was right, though. She could not refute this in any way. While Lefiya was learning hand-to-hand combat from Bete, the method of fighting with a short sword, she also actively added parallel singing to her training. She holds her now-dead friend's short sword in her right hand and a short staff that looks like the one her friend used to carry in her left hand. And she wants to cultivate the fighting style of a magic warrior. Like that girl who sobbed. I really can't stand it. Despite being repeatedly ridiculed by Bete, Lefiya didn't give in here. This is not to despise or belittle yourself so far, a pure defender mage. As long as there is a need, it can be used as a fixed fort. Several times. But even if you learn the magic swordsman fighting method, you can still serve as a rear mage. On the contrary, if you can. Understanding the movements of the vanguard and central defender will be able to provide more accurate support. Magic swordsman is a derivative of magician that has a magic circle. There will be only benefits, no harm. I don't want to be just protected anymore. The attacker's job is to protect the defender, and the defender's job is to save the attacker. So Lefiya wants to protect herself and save others. Lefiya wanted power so she could act alone. However, you can fight alone. Now you're just something that can't be obtained by force, a worm that can't fly anywhere. You can't even count how. Trash. The wolf that turned into a collection of malicious things rejected Lefiya's target. Reproaching her, this is just an optimistic outlook that can come true.